Hello and welcome to the 6-Star Leaders podcast. I'm your host, Aveline Clark, and you're about to listen to another incredible episode with an amazing human all about how they are making a difference in the world using their passion, their purpose, and the alignment of their genius. Because I believe that we make the greatest impact in our life when we combine our passion with our purpose and our genius. That's where the magic happens. This conversation is going to be good because they always are. There's so much to gain from these. They're beautiful, they're inspiring, and I invite you to open up to see the possibilities of what you can do in your life too. Enjoy. This episode is with a dear friend, colleague of 6-Star Business. His name is Kabel, and I love Kabel's story. But most of all, I love what he's done with his life. You know, he's had these moments where life's thrown in more than a lemon. They've been really, really tough situations. He's a dad, a husband, and everything he's done has been very purposeful. And what he demonstrates in this conversation is what happens when you trust in the power of your own ability to live on purpose and believe in yourself, and that there is something bigger than just yourself here in life. You know, when I first met Kabel, he was doing something completely different, living in a very different place. And I look at him now and what he's just about to embark on, what he is embarking on, and it is so exciting and heartwarming. He's completely 100% living his dream. He's living on purpose. He's living an inspired life. This is an amazing example of what happens when you tap into purpose and you believe in it. It's magic. It really is magic. So this is a great one with Kabel. Hello, and thank you so much for joining me today, Kabel. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. Any happier, I'll be twins, Av.
Oh, I love speaking to you, Kabel. Look, we just had a funny moment in the green room, and I asked you if you wanted me to say your surname, and you said, no, I'm like Prince or Madonna. And you really are a delight, Kabel. And the reason that we're leaving off your surname is because it's long and complex. That's what I'm going to say.
It's Vafiopulous. So it makes it easier if you just call me Kabel, because I'm pretty sure unless you're in Africa, where it's a really common name, apparently, I'm the only one you're going to bump into.
That's it. Yeah. Well, I love that you're unique, and like everybody is unique, and we have these little things about us. So let's get stuck into this conversation, shall we?
Let's rock and roll. Let's do it. Thank you, Aveline.
Well, you are welcome. Now, I know you pretty well, but for our listeners, where are you in the world?
So I live on the mid-north coast of New South Wales. We're about 3.5 hours north of Sydney in a place called Killabar. Bit of a weird name. It's about 20 minutes from Taree, and if that doesn't make sense, then we're probably about an hour from Port Macquarie, and a bit over an hour from Foster. So we're just inland of those two great holiday destinations.
Lovely, lovely. So for those listening from around the world, what that means is just a little bit inland, in the bush, in some beautiful country of Australia. Like
absolutely magical.
3 hours. Yeah. Kabel, please share with me, who do you serve and how do you serve them?
I guess to summarize it, I serve people and I serve animals and I serve the environment. So my life's mission is to help others, and that others, as a person who's cared about the environment and animals, I've been a vegan for 30 odd years. So I'm very passionate about our natural wildlife and all of our domesticated animals. But what I do is I bring them all together with people. So how I serve people is we've established Wyuna Wildlife Retreat, which is up at Killabar. It is nearly 400 acres of rainforest and beautiful native Australian bush, absolutely full of rare and endangered species. Koalas is our main focus at the moment. And how we serve people is we create a unique and immersive experience by allowing people to come to this beautiful retreat that has our main goal or motto is to have the lightest footprint possible on the land. So we've chosen as accommodation tiny homes and glamping um, setups because they have a footprint of a caravan. They're on wheels or they're on posts that are in the ground on a platform. So we don't have to clear any land if possible. Where possible, we use existing clearings. But what these accommodation types allow is for a very intimate um, stay with nature. It's literally the windows and whatnot just bring nature into the accommodation. And I know because for the last 12 months, I've been up here using nature as a healing tool. My journey was a little bit interesting to get here. It involved a fair bit of trauma and all sorts of bits and pieces. But by using nature, I've been able to heal enormous parts of my journey and really just be in nature. It's as a hyperactive person, I've never found it easy to just sit still, but I can sit in one of our beautiful creeks in a chair with my gumboots on for 2 hours and just sit there and watch what goes on around me. And it's amazing because there's nobody anywhere near me. There is nothing but wildlife. There is nothing but trees and water. And I've found that magical healing power that it has. So for me, coming from a high-end corporate world previously, that world kind of sucks as far as looking after humans. I don't think it's really good for our health. And what I found was the stress and the pressure, and of over 25 years in that field, there's just not many outlets. Didn't matter, all the surfing I did and everything else, you still got to turn up on Monday. But Wyuna is a place where you can come and completely unplug from the world. It's 400 acres. There's nobody going to be anywhere near you. You can switch your phone off and you can just absolutely enjoy the experience of nature. So, yeah, that's how we do what we do and how we do it.
Nice. Wow. You had me right there at the creek with my gumboots on. I,
It's very
I
good.
not, yeah. Look, I normally ask my guests, like, what do you do in your spare time? I don't think I need to ask you that,
I
right?
play outside. I play
Yeah.
outside. I love it. I love it. My favorite thing is just doing anything outside on the farm. Well, that was the I guess we shouldn't call it a farm on the property. It's just, yeah, it's just like at the moment, spring's here kind of early, but there are birds everywhere, absolutely everywhere. I've got birds making a nest on my front door. And they come back every year, these sparrows. So yeah, anything outdoors, bring it on.
So, Cable, I'm fascinated to know about your journey and what has brought you to where you are today. Because you didn't wake up one day and go, I'm going to run a wildlife retreat in the bush. You just mentioned before you were in the corporate world. You've done a lot of surfing, so you've obviously lived on the coast, maybe in the city. Do you want to take me back and share with me the journey and what's brought you to where you are today?
Yeah, look, it's after what I've just seen my puppies run past my office door. So if you hear a lot of rumbling going on, they're not hurting each other; they're just having fun. They're brother and sister. Um, as a hyperactive kid, you're not really an indoors kid. Your parents learn pretty quick. Wherever you go, get him outside. Otherwise, destruction happens. Not out of malice or anything, but just because you're active and moving at a billion miles an hour. So I've always really loved being outside. I love water even more. I'm a complete water body person. So the beach and the ocean is somewhere that I just, that's my heart place. But yeah, I worked in high-end corporate sales for 25 years. It was my job in business development to chase, I guess, the top 50 ASX in Australia and largest government organisations. And I essentially had, I guess, I dealt with the C-suite every day, all day, including within the company that I worked in. My attitude is that I'm very good at what I do, and it's very natural to me because I like helping people, and that's what I liked about what I did. But the pressure was enormous. I've got broad shoulders and carried that, I thought, very, very well, and performed at a really high level, which was great because I've got a wife and two daughters, and it allowed us to have my wife be a stay-at-home mum while the girls were before they started school, which was tough being on one wage, and it took a lot of responsibility, made me very responsible, made me grow up pretty quick, as much as I have. Um, but at the birth of my first daughter, I, whatever the male version of postnatal depression, I got that. And I think I've probably had depression and anxiety a lot of my life. I used to just call it bouncing off the bottom. Every now and then things would just get real bad. But you'd hit the bottom and then everything could get good again. It's in my nature to be very positive, to always look for the upside, to always look at the good in people, and I don't think I really, well, like everybody says like a lot of men, but it's like a lot of women as well in this journey. I just ignored what was going on. I didn't talk to anybody about it because you don't talk about weaknesses. Um, and so for 10 years, I just pushed on, head down, bum up, and making money for my family so that we could live our lives and have experiences. We chose to go the experience route over buying a house while the kids were young, um, so that they had lots of great memories. But it's expensive to look after a family in today's world. It's expensive to do all the things that you do. And unbeknownst to me, my depression, well, no, of course it was known to me. My depression anxiety was at a critically high level. And I was under enormous pressure at work to carry an enormous team of salespeople with the sales that I brought in. Um, and on the 26th of March, 5 years ago now, I had a massive stroke. So I had been seeing script writing doctors who had just been increasing my medication, not really paying attention. And I was on a toxic dose of medication that interacted with some other medication that I take, that basically gave me a massive stroke, ischemic stroke. And luckily I was awake. It was 8:30 in the morning on a Sunday. My wife's an ex-nurse, and both of us kind of went, yeah, this isn't. I was slurring my speech. My body was not working. Everything was crashing real quickly. We got an ambulance really great. We got a hospital really great. And uh, they managed to reverse the stroke or remove the stroke. I've still got 3 strokes on my brain. But essentially, they saved my life. It was either you're going to die or you're going to be okay with some serious issues. And honestly, the short-term memory loss is probably about the worst thing that I've got. The problem is, though, it brought everything out into the daylight because they ask you every question about what's going on in your life, including what medication are you on. And when they identified very quickly, hey, these two don't go together so well. This is what's caused the stroke. What is going on? I had to then tell them, look, I'm severely depressed and suffering from massive anxiety. At that point, I had a massive breakdown. all the panic attacks and stuff that comes along with that, because they essentially went, "You got to get off these." And the antidepressants were the only thing keeping me upright at that time. I went through over that 10 years, suicide ideation, everything that you can think of, you go through. Um, there was no way they could take that off me in my mind. The black hole that I was going to dive into while they did some slow change program was incomprehensible to me. So I went into the local mental health clinic and they did a very fast transition to a new drug that the first time I took it, I knew it was the one and it instantly changed my life. So that was great. But I went into that mental health ward not knowing how long I'd be there. And the only person who knew about my mental health issues was my wife at the time. And I said to her, "You can't tell anybody. Just tell them I've gone into hospital and I'll be in touch when I get out." It's a really horrible thing that I did to her as far as putting her in that position, because my family were like, "What the is going on?" But at that point, I could not cope with anything at all, like a lot of people. And luckily, I think it was day 3, somebody came and sat next to me at dinner because I was ignoring everybody, which is kind of hard because I'm 6'7" and big. So it's kind of hard to be invisible, and just said, "Hi, I've got bipolar. What's wrong with you?" And I was like, "What?" And then 4 hours later, we finished talking and I realized that I wasn't alone, that other people thought exactly what I thought. Other people were experiencing exactly the same things. Just the only difference is it's tailored to them. So I left there knowing that I needed to go on a big journey, and I've got an amazing psychologist, um, Sarah, who has been such a rock and has helped me enormously. The main thing is helped me with the tools to deal with life. The tools we never ever get taught. We never train or teach our children how to deal with things and how to deal with all the things that come at you in life, and how to. It's something I've focused on a lot. We've been very honest with our children, and so yeah, the last 5 years has been a big journey going through my mental health journey and strengthening myself, and also dealing with the lows that come with that. But it's hard to say whether it's cruelly or. So I have guardian angels that have looked after me my whole life. I'm a very lucky individual and have dodged dying a couple of times. But on the 26th of March, which is the same date as my stroke 3 years ago, I was involved in a tragic car accident where, unfortunately, the girl that um, it was not her fault. It was just one of those tragic accidents where her car slipped and we hit head on, and she passed away. And she was a young lady who had everything in front of her and everything to live for. Amazing family, one of the real good kids she was, and she passed away, and that impacted me enormously. The guilt, the shame, the pain that I felt for her loss is something I still carry today. Um, I can feel it rising right now, but that moment critically changed my life forever. I'd already learnt through the stroke to start to look after myself, to start to be better at being present with my family. But this showed me in a second, you can be gone. It's all over. So if you're lucky, you die once, but you get to live life every day, and you should make the most of that. I went through an enormous mental health journey to come out the other side of that accident. And in doing that, and to be honest, talking to my guardian angels, I got really pissed off with them one night. It was about midnight, probably 2 to 3 months after the accident. I was sitting out in the backyard looking at the sky, and I just yelled at them. I'm like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm over it. I'm over this. Just, you either make it clear why I'm here, or there's a bleep here, or fuck off. I'm done with you. I seriously, you're torturing me and I'm done with it. Make it clear. I want to know what my purpose is, or leave me alone. And the next morning, Kismet started happening at an insane level and has continued to this day. So 3.5 years later, I still have daily events that blow my mind. And my purpose in life was to help others. It's what I've been here all along. It's what I'd all, my answer, I actually knew that. My answer is, if I won lotto, what would you do? Is I'd help charities. So I started Love is the Answer, and that's what we do. We help them with their businesses. We help them with whatever we can. And one of our other missions that was born out of that was creating a wildlife sanctuary or an animal sanctuary, because I know that if you bring traumatized animals or animals and people together, the power of that connection is incredibly strong and does an enormous amount of good. So I've always had that kind of back dream of, oh, it'd be good one day to have a farm, a bit of land. I've always wanted a farm near the ocean, but it costs way too much money, where I could have animals and stuff like that, because I love animals. And then with the accident, finding my purpose and a fair bit of meditation and thinking, I just went, just do it. What are you waiting for? I don't know, what am I, 48? It's time to do it. Just do it. That you can wait forever, but why? This is today. I've got today. So we started down the path of setting up a wildlife retreat. And that journey's been probably 2.5 years in the making, and is now coming to fruition with Wyuna. And I'm so excited that I get to share this journey with so many other people, not only because they get to visit the retreat, but the model that we've chosen is essentially a co-ownership model where like-minded people like me, or like themselves, but people who love nature, who love conservation, who are into saving koalas, can co-own the retreat with us and get a whole bunch of benefits. And all those benefits are designed to have them at the retreat. So we then create this intimate connection with all these co-owners, where not only do they get to come to the retreat and see everything that's there and experience everything, but essentially we create a whole bunch of little wildlife warriors. Not little, sorry, I'm being, everyone else is little. We create, because I'm sure they're going to go away and talk about it. I'm sure they're going to talk about it, family and friends. I'm sure they're going to, tell people at work. And that's what we need, because there's a massive disconnection between what people see in TVs and zoos to what's happening in reality. And what's happening in reality is really bad. And yeah, so being purpose driven to change that is now where I'm at. And that's the journey I've been on. And I go to sleep dreaming every night instead of having nightmares for, I don't know how long, 10, 15, I don't know, 12, 13 years. I just went to bed every night with nightmares. Stuff you'd wake up and go, is that real? Did that happen? Like, I have to pulse check with my wife and go, did this happen? Because I'm not sure. And they were so vivid. Now I go to bed dreaming. Last night I went to bed dreaming about the wallabies that are around the house. And where do they go at night? Do they just go just off the house, or do they have a little place that they chill out and go back to? Or I dream about driving the tractor and doing this and doing fencing, which is weird. But it's such an awesome experience not to wake up with the weight of the world on my shoulders. I wake up light. I look after myself, or I try to. I'm still not fantastic at it, but I practice self-compassion. And yeah, that's my journey. That's how I got here. Sorry for a bit.
Wow. Thank you, Cable. Thank you. Thank you. I'm sure the listeners are kind of like still catching up, processing what you said. Um, you know, unless we've been through something, we really don't know how it feels to go through something. And we can only try, um, put ourselves in the shoes of others and empathize as best we can. So there's probably, 1,000 questions that people would have for you around some of the things that you've shared. But I want to focus on, I guess, the most important ones for me and for this conversation. And first of all, just well done. Well done for choosing the path that you have. Go you. Like, it just shows the strength of who you are to have gotten through those events and be here today. And you radiate joy and happiness. And not just joy and happiness, you've got this electric like energy and drive for what you're doing for life. That's like, that's gold.
Making me blush. I feel.
No, if only we could like bottle that, you could make millions just from that alone. Because not everybody gets this opportunity or gets to a place of being fully in alignment with who they really are and being aligned with their passion and their purpose. You figured it out through this journey.
Yeah. It's one of those things that used to really piss me off when people go, oh, when you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And I'd just be like, I want to kill you. Like, just that's not real. That doesn't happen. Go bite it. It's so rare. All I would say to people is if you even think about wanting to start your own business, do it. It's not simple. It's not easy. Nothing in life is. Nothing in life is simple or easy. But do follow any dreams you've got. You could be dead tomorrow. That's the reality of it. At least start, If you don't know what your passion is, do a bit of digging, do a bit of soul searching, do a bit of meditation, try and talk to your guardian angels. I wish I'd done this 30 years ago, but then again, my life wouldn't be what it is if I hadn't have been through everything I have. Yeah, it's been tough. I think life is tough. I don't think everything's like you see on Instagram or Facebook. And that's one of the hard things because a lot of people measure themselves by those people that are always happy and their life is perfect and it's just too good. I think that's bullshit. Your kids can be a nightmare sometimes. Money sucks. Being a grown-up's kind of shit. Excuse my language, but you're responsible for a whole bunch of people. Their lives depend on you. You have to pay for everything. Like no one pays for everything for you. It's really, it can be not too much fun sometimes. And look at what is it? The pressures of on people at the moment with money and housing and everything costs $1 billion more than it used to. That's making life really tough for people. And if you're one of those people that are feeling that toughness and that pressure and that weight, we had Are You Okay Day yesterday. Such a critical day. Just to know that it's okay to not be okay. Like there's nothing wrong with you. You might have depression. You might have anxiety. You might have PTSD. That's another bonus that I picked up. But know that it's okay. where you are, that as impossible as it seems, things can get better. And there are people in horrific situations, far worse than mine has ever been, where the way out just doesn't seem to ever exist. Um, I really feel for those people. And, I help charities in Uganda, seems to be where I'm being led. And it's just heartbreaking. The contrast between my life and my friends in Uganda who run charities in Uganda's life is just so vast and epic that you can't actually fathom it. With the power of internet, I'm able to get on um, video calls with them and see with my own two eyes. We talk on messenger apps all the time, and I had one little girl who, these kids can get a meal a day if they're lucky, and it's the same meal day in day out. But one of these beautiful little kids, and the kids are just, oh my goodness, kids are great for, they're pure, you know, their smile and the way they light up, despite the fact that they're starving, they haven't got any clothes that are good, they're struggling to get any kind of education, they live in a mud hut, all these sort of things. They just can beam such love and happiness and joy. But trying to, as an example of the contrast between these two worlds, and I just wanted to, this little girl got bitten by a snake, a bad one. They live in a mud hut on the outskirts of town, in this orphanage, and they don't have a van or a car or a bus or anything. They've got a motorbike. So they put her on the back of the motorbike and boom, they're off to the hospital. The roads aren't like our roads. It's chaos. And they end up getting hit by a car, which severely hurts them. But they've still got to get to the hospital because she's been bitten by a snake as well as being hit by a car on a motorbike. They finally get her to the hospital, and their hospitals aren't like our hospitals, not even close. Their hospitals are about as close as my garage is to a hospital. That's, there's no antivenom at the hospital. The antivenom's 2 hours away, but there's no one to bring the antivenom to the hospital because you have to pay for it first. So my friends have to figure out and go, they realize pretty quickly, shit, we've got to drive to this hospital, get the antivenom, pay for it, and come back. And mind you, that antivenom costs a fortune, and they don't have money like that. Their money is scraped together to feed these kids every day and provide for them. So luckily, he's just one of the most amazing men that I've ever met. And Reagan is, oh, he's going to be a superstar one day and do some amazing things. He just figures out, okay, I'll activate my network online and put out a call for help. And somehow they've figured it out by the time they get there. They've got enough to scrape together to get the antivenom, and then they bring it back to the hospital. So this is 4, 5, 6 hours has happened. This little girl's all cut up from no helmet on the motorbike or anything. So she's just a mess and still being bitten by a snake. Not a deadly snake, but one that's really causing her a lot of grief. They get back to the hospital, and nobody at the hospital knows what to do with the antivenom. So then it's like, we've just gone to the hospital that had the antivenom. You could have told us, there's so many things, right? And this young man in his, I think, I keep calling him young because I'm getting old, but figured out how to get that. All right, we're going to get her and get her to the other hospital to get her someone to administer the antivenom, or we're going to figure it out here. I think they figured it out there. But it takes days to recover. And but anyway, this little girl made it. She got through it all. She's got broken bones, you name it. And I'm just like, wow, my weekend was a bit different to that. And this happens all the time in their world. It is just they want to buy a van because the kids have to walk alongside that road to get to school every day, and it's dangerous. And so they just want a minivan so they can put all the kids in a bus and take them to school safely. Simple things, or food, or shelter. And I'm like, okay, yeah, we live in different worlds. Our perspectives are so different.
Thanks for sharing that, Cable. Question: do you feel that you have a greater capacity for humanity since your accidents, the events that happened? So rewind your life prior to 5 years ago. Could have you seen or heard of that story at that time and been able to, would it have affected you? Or were you a completely different person at that point?
I was way too busy. Yes, it would have affected me. Yes, it would have had an impact and it would have got my attention. Those kind of stories always do. But I was just too busy. I used to work crazy hours. I used to spend anywhere from 4 hours plus in traffic every day. It was just not a life conducive to doing what I'm doing now. But I think my capacity for what I've learnt about stop, listen. You have two ears, one mouth. That tells you the percentage of listening you should be doing compared to talking, and really connecting with people. I've always really connected with people. I think that was probably why I was successful in business, because I'm genuinely interested. I'm a curious person, and it's boring if you don't do it. I'm like, I don't know how people just not. Yeah, I've always longed for connection, but I like to hear people's stories. It's one of my favorite things. I just love, so I think is awesome about what you do. Not only are the insights and the gold that you find in these discussions, but like your job is listening to people's stories. I love that. That's why I love your podcast, because I'm just like, this is so cool. It's like, it's just exactly what I love. Um, I love it when old people talk about history and what it was like, and then how they dealt with things. I love hearing people's mental health journeys. I love people when they get to that first point where they go, whoa, I'm having some of those thoughts too. Can we have a chat about this? Because I talk about openly about my mental health issues, and I think, yeah, if I hadn't been through, I guess what's the word, the massive disruption that was brought into my life to get my attention, um, I'd probably still be killing myself in the corporate world. Um, yeah. I don't think I would have stopped, or to be honest, I'd probably be dead. Is the reality. I don't think I could have gone. The bad habits that I learned in that corporate world, I still struggle with trying to get them out of myself today. I still, even though I know better. But yeah, I think what I've been through definitely connects and grounds me more to reality. Is what it is to life. And I love life and I love reality. I love different versions. I love different people. Different people make the world go round. I love it. I just love talking to people and finding out their stories. And then
Sounds like,
conversely, how
sorry.
can I help you?
Uh, yes. And it sounds like before your adversity, before the stroke, let's start with that, you were in the corporate world, so busy, very closed, your life was stuffed with just, and consumed with work and the
Yeah.
responsibility and the pressure and all of that. And after the adversity, you got woken up hey, Cable, this is what life's actually about. Guess what? There's a lot more on offer here. And what you just described is that there are all different things, there's all different colors and variations of life. And you are in this, and now you are not only living your best life, but you're wanting to help others find theirs.
Yeah. And it's so much fun. Not just fun, joy, happiness, bliss, just it's energizing. Like for me, if I help just one person, I'm stoked with that. That's how I started my journey of sharing my mental health issues and doing videos and talking to people at work and presentations and all that sort of stuff was I just want to help one other person like I was helped. And I've gone way past helping one person, but that is so exciting. It is the look that you get back from somebody when you have that connection or they make that connection is incredible. It is so powerful. It supercharges me. It just, you know, it's a nightmare sometimes to get to sleep because I'm hyperactive. And if I get one of these supercharges in an afternoon or an evening, I'm screwed because I'm just so pumped up. I'm like, all right, we're watching Netflix till 3 o'clock this morning. Here we go. Because I just, it's an energy level that no meditation can get rid of. But yeah, I love helping others and focusing on that is really awesome and a great, I love it.
So let's focus on Wyuna, because it feels to me like Wyuna now is this playground and the channel or the vehicle that you can use to help others. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Oh, look, it is for me the most amazing place on earth. It is, it is beyond beautiful. If you go to our website, you'll see the photos. There's 400 acres of rainforest. There are 10 plus creeks that are like magic. There's platypus, there's koalas, there's wallabies bouncing around my house. There's a volcano mount right next to my house. Like, it's like, wow. Like, the inside of a volcano that's 100, 150 meters high is literally probably 100 meters from my house. And it's massive. It's like, where do you get a volcano mount in your backyard? Like, that's awesome. And on top of that, for me, is the fact that I get to share this place with people. So it's great to have a place like this. And then, I could keep it all to myself and go, ooh, I've got all this amazing place. But for me, I want to protect these animals and I want to protect this environment. And I want to have the lightest footprint we can on it while we do that. And I want other people to be part of that. I really want as many people as possible to realize, hey, like in our lifetime, we could lose koalas. We are losing so many rare and endangered species. It is ridiculous. I got a newspaper, a local newspaper here. Does that work? And this was all about koalas. I just found this at the doctor's surgery. And it's all just like, hey, we're destroying their habitat. Still, like, what don't we get? So for me, having co-owners as well as guests, having a group of people who are like-minded and want to make a difference, because you can. It's that simple. Like, you look at the problems that are out there in the world, and there's so many of them, and there probably always has been lots of them. They're just different for our generation. And it's like, it's all too big. I can't make a difference. Well, yeah, you can. Every choice you make has an impact, and you can make different choices. And for me, when I met Bricklet and found out about the Bricklet marketplace, it was like, okay, so we can create this amazing wildlife retreat, protect all of these animals and these plants and this ecosystem, and I can have other people join me on that and be just as excited and empowered about it as I am. And what's crazy about it for me is for as little as $5,000, you can buy a bricklet. And then you do it all online. It's so simple and easy to do. And then, hey, bang, you a co-owner in a wildlife retreat. You know, you get fantastic returns on your money. In fact, it's I've checked, and from what I can see, it's better than a bank. But I encourage people to do their own checking. I'm not a financial advisor. Um, you get free accommodation every year. You get discounted accommodation. You get special VIP events, you know, that are tailored to those co-owners because those co-owners have exactly the same passion that I do. So we're going to host, you know, exclusive events for them. I guess it's not so much as a thank you, but to bring that community together. So if even, you know, we're selling 600 bricklets, we've already sold 120. In pre-release, there's another 50 on the market right now. The exciting thing for me is that these people can talk to me at any time as well. They can, you know, they not only get to interact with the property, but they can interact with me. And for me, I can't wait for that, for people to come to Wyuna to see how important it is what we're doing to save this ecosystem, to save these animals because they could be gone. Like imagine Australia without a koala. Imagine Australia without a kangaroo or an emu. All these things that are you know, they're freaky animals that only live here, and we just accept them, and we're not really doing a good job of looking after them. So you can make tiny decisions in your life that can change the world, and this is a chance for, yeah, you may not be able to afford $3 million to set up a wildlife retreat, but you might be able to afford $5,000, and then you're essentially on the same journey I am. And you can come and work on the retreat with us. You can come and camp on the retreat, do whatever you want. Come visit as often as you want. And that's just so exciting to me. Really energizing and really hard to sleep at night at the moment. It's because it's awesome.
Yeah. I can feel the passion. Oh, it's so exciting, Cable. I've got to ask you, what is your superpower or your genius?
Oh, hmm. I think compassion for others. I think it's something that's always been in me. I think, and by others, I mean people, animals, environment, everything. I love all of those things. I'm interested in all of those things. And if it's speaking to me, then I want to hear it. I want to find out how I can help. But yeah, I think that'd be it. I love to use my heart. You know, I've always been told I'm too open, I'm too honest, I'm too giving or whatever. And I'm like, so what? Like, why is that a bad thing? Oh, you'll get hurt. So what? You know? So I get hurt. I deal with it. I've got tools to deal with that now. You know? Don't be afraid to love. Don't be afraid to, you know, it's why I started Love is the Answer. That was started in the absolute pit of despair when Donald Trump was rampaging around on the news. Bushfires were tearing this joint apart and everything. It's like, there's just got to be a better way. And my guardian angels delivered Love is the Answer. And that's the way I choose to live. Is it coming from a place of love? If it's not, what are you doing it for then? You need to shut up. You need to stop doing what you're doing if you are causing pain or inflicting pain on someone. Stop it. Refocus, recenter, and come from a place of love. I guarantee you your life will be 1,000,000,000 times better. Everything in your life will be better. But yeah. You got me talking about my truths and everything. It's like, wow,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
exciting.
Kabel, looking back on the younger you, if you think back when you're in the corporate world or, back then, what's the one thing that you wish you knew then when you were starting out in your
Oh,
career that you know now? So if you could look back and say to your former version of you, what would it be?
oh, that's a really good question. That's a dynamite question. Wow. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. Take leaps. Don't be afraid. And yeah, I would have delivered the love message a lot sooner, but I would have also delivered it with don't forget to love yourself. It's critical. And that's probably one of my biggest downfallings is not loving myself. I still to this day have a very terrible inner voice. Um, and, that's self-compassion, something I battle with daily, but spread more love and trust yourself. Go have fun. Like, seriously, you die once, you live every day. Go for
I love talking with you. I could keep talking to you for hours, Kabel.
it.
You're such
Likewise.
a beautiful man. I want to hold this mirror up and go, can you see the love? Right? Love yourself. There's so much to love about you. I mean, you're just an absolute joy and the world is a better
Thank you.
place because of you. So,
Thank you. And
no, you're welcome.
likewise, I can do this forever. And one day we will when you come to the retreat.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
I
that's
just
right.
can't wait to sit around a fire. Well, it'll be summer because we're both water
Mm,
people. So
mm.
probably no fire. But we can sit by the creek and talk for
Yeah,
hours.
we can and we will. Kabel, how can people find you or get to, know more about Wyuna?
Yeah, go to our website. Uh, I won't spell Wyuna most probably, but we'll leave all the links on the webpage. And feel free to get in contact. I love meeting new people. It's part of my life. I love it. I love hearing your stories. Or if you want to come on the journey, buy a bricklet or buy a few and come along. There's some amazing benefits.
Absolutely. Such an exciting thing. I love what you're doing for this environment, for animals, for people. Like there's just so many, benefits and beautiful things within what you're creating. So
Thank you.
well done, you.
Thank you.
So, so exciting. And I'm proud to be your friend. I'm honored to be your friend. And thank you for being here.
Likewise.
Mm.
Likewise. It's not often you get to have a friend that you can listen to while you're driving the car or mowing the lawns. So it's pretty cool. You're around a lot, even though
Oh,
you
that's
don't
so
know it.
nice. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you.
Oh,
You
no,
have a blessed day, and
thank you.
thank you for sharing today. It's just been an absolute pleasure.
No worries. Thank you very much. Can I say one last thing?
Yes,
Life's not about weathering the storm. It's about learning to dance in the rain. Soak that, let that soak in. It makes a huge difference to your perspective on life. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And Evelyn, been awesome having another chat. Thank you.
thank you.